Hi, welcome back to Andrea Fontana Beauty. Today we are doing a I say this in every single video. We're doing a very exciting video, but really, every video I film is exciting for me. So I hope you're enjoying them because I'm having a lot of fun. Today's topic is going to be a very necessary, but I don't feel like it's something that's done very often. You see a lot of like, here are glam looks that people who love makeup would love to try. Here is natural, everyday, no makeup, makeup, right? Like, hi, I just filmed 2 of those. But something you don't see, which was requested by one of my best friends, so I'm doing this with her in mind, Margie, hi, is to do a makeup routine for people who want to look good with makeup, don't care if it looks like they're wearing makeup, like they're putting the effort in, they want to look good, and they want it to be, I don't want it to be intimidating. I want it to just be like, I don't know a lot about makeup. It's not something that I'm super passionate in and I'm gonna research and learn all these techniques. So just show me a makeup look or tutorial on how to do a great standard makeup look that'll look good on all sorts of different skin tones, different eye colors, that sort of thing. The thing that I've added in, because I think this is really important, is all of the products that I'm using today are from the drugstore. So obviously, if you're not super passionate about makeup and you don't really care to invest in the products that you're using, totally fine. Like, you do not have to go get these expensive $60 eyeshadow palettes just because I like to get them. So I'm hoping this is a little less intimidating because these are products you can pick up at Target, you know, in the drugstore section of Ulta. Hopefully more accessible for those of you who are watching in smaller towns maybe, whatever the case may be. I want to make sure that this is just a for everybody makeup look, okay? So obviously if your complexion is darker than mine, you'll need to change things up a little bit as far as that goes, but everything is very affordable. I tried to keep the amount of products also very minimal. So I'm bringing some favorites out. The 2 stars are actually 2 products that I picked up just for this video, which are these 2 new e.l.f. palettes. So they've been doing these bite-size 4-pan eyeshadow palettes. This one is in Cream and Sugar. And then this is the blush and highlighter duo in Lychee. This is also really good. I've tested out everything that's new to me. I've tested out at least once because I wanted to make sure that I liked. Honestly though, I feel like these are the only 2 products that I hadn't used before this video. So a lot of old favorites of mine and I'm excited. We're gonna see what I create. I'll have everything listed below as always, and let's get you zoomed in and get this makeup look started. So to get started, we're actually, instead of a primer, we're going to kind of do like a before and after, some true bookends to our makeup today, and we're gonna use the Pixi Glow Mist, which I've used so many times. You can pick this up at Target and Ulta. We're gonna use it as a before, so as a primer essentially, and then we're also gonna use it at the end to set our makeup. So foundation wise, we're gonna do things in the order that I would typically do them if I was doing this makeup on myself. Everyday makeup really depends on who you are, what your makeup skill level is, that sort of thing. We all have our own definition for everyday makeup. So for me, this would be more of an everyday makeup look because I like to wear bold makeup, but it doesn't mean that you're comfortable with it. So it's okay if this feels like it's more makeup than you're used to, but I just mixed the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation with the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. I'm going to mix those on the back of my hand, dot them all over my face, and then using my foundation brush, we're gonna buff this in. Downward buffing strokes, short. I like adding the Glotion because it really helps keep the skin looking nice and dewy, really healthy, which again, if you like a more matte look, that's totally fine too, but I just really prefer a healthy glow when it comes to my skin because I find that that is what helps keep my makeup looking really nice and fresh and natural. I always do 1 thin layer all over, so you'll notice I did that, and then now I'm going in with what was on the back of the rest of what was on the back of my hand hand, and I'm putting that through here and through my chin because those are the areas that I usually need a little extra coverage. The trick with good foundation is to just blend, blend, blend before it all sets. You can see that gives me a really good coverage. Next, we're gonna go in with I've actually rebought this for this video, but I love this concealer and I haven't had it in a couple of years, so I was like, let me pick that up. It's the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I have the shade 11 in vanilla and I love this concealer. It's so good. Such a good drugstore concealer. I'm just adding a little bit of brightness through the center of the face. When I picked this up, I actually got an idea for a future video. Like this video or comment below if you want to see it. I'm probably gonna do it in May, but I want to do a full face of products that I used to be obsessed with that I haven't gone back to in a while. I think it's really fun to go back to products that you loved because we're always like on this journey as makeup lovers to continue to try new products, and sometimes we completely forget like, oh, why did I ever stop using that? It works so well. So I kind of want to do like, I don't know, a fun video pulling out favorites that I just haven't used in a while. So I'm just blending. Blending out. I'm actually taking the concealer up onto my eyelid so that I get some concealed. I have some veining and some redness. If you're new to eyeshadow and you find that you have a really hard time making your eyeshadow look blended, it's really important that you are starting with a really good blank canvas. So I like to normally use a primer, but you can totally use whatever concealer you put under your eyes on your eyelids. Next, we're gonna go in with the number 7 Lift and Luminate powder. This one you can find at Target, and we're gonna set the areas where I either tend to crease or I get oily. So that's gonna be basically anywhere I just concealed. You can also take your powder if you don't want to use, like, I always like to start with a neutral, like pretty close to my skin tone eyeshadow. So now we have a nice blank canvas for our eyes. I'm taking the e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadow palette. I still cannot believe these are $3. I tried very hard. I've heard such good things about these, so I tried very hard to only pick up one. This has a light shade, a matte shade, and 2 shimmers in the middle, and this is $3. $3. What the heck? Such great quality too. I'm gonna start by taking my flat shader brush and I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade and just pat that on the lid. I know I just put a little bit of that powder down, but I have very veiny lids. Next, I just like to blend. It's really important as you're learning eyeshadow to make sure that you have a flat shader brush and a blending brush. If you can only afford to get one, or you can only find one, or you only have one and you don't want to buy another one, make sure you have a blending brush. That is the most important. If you don't have a flat shader brush, you can totally use your finger to apply the product. I'll honestly probably do it that way so that you guys can get a good feel for it. But the blending brush is very hard to replicate with your fingers. So I would say the blending brush. This is the Morphe M441. I also love the Moda BMX 430 crease brush. Actually, let's use that one because he's a little bit finer. So I put that color all over my lid. Now I'm going to, when I say barely tap, there's like hardly any product, tap it on the side so that any excess product falls off. And I'm just going to buff this into the crease. When I first touch the product, my first motion of touching my lid in the first spot is gonna be right here on the outside because that's where we want the most color payoff, is gonna be on the outside with this darker color. So this is your crease, this divot where at the top of your eyelid where it meets your brow bone, that crease, hence the name. And then this is your outer corner, outer V. You'll hear those 2 terms. So I'm you'll notice also that the closer up you hold the brush, the more control you have, so it's harder to get a soft look. If you're trying to be very precise, it's good to hold the brush up close, but when you're trying to do light, faded, buffing, blending work, especially, you want to make sure that you're holding the brush really far down, because then you won't put all the product in just one spot. Okay, so I'm just essentially doing these little mini circles in the outer corner and then buffing through the crease. I still haven't gotten any excess product. It's really subtle. I'm gonna do the same process again. Tiny dip, kind of press in, little circles. You'll be able to feel that little pocket of the crease. You'll notice that I'm kind of like keeping this eye open. Like I put my brush in and then I kind of open my eye a little bit, because that helps me see the shape of where I'm blending. And then I kind of every so often just look up, because we want to make sure that we're getting the desired effect. As you practice and get to know your own eye, you're gonna start to learn exactly where you like the shadow to be placed. So if you put it in the wrong spot, you feel like it's too high, too low, that's okay. Try again, you'll get the hang of it. So this is when I kind of like to look between the two and make sure that we have things placed in the same spot. The first time I used this, I went with the more champagne, so the lighter of the two shimmers, but this time I really want to go for that coppery shade. I like a flat angled fluffy brush, or just simply another blending brush. If you feel like you went a little too crazy with the crease, or it just feels a little harsh and not blended as much as you want, you can take a flat angled fluffy brush and just buff. This is with that first color that I originally put on my lid. The reason that you want to make sure that you start with either your powder or a light matte shade like this is it's going to make any eyeshadow you put over it that you're trying to blend easier to blend, because you're essentially blending it out into that powder or into that eyeshadow, right? So it's easier to blend the darker shadow into a lighter shadow. That's gonna give you a nice blended effect. If you're just trying to put a dark shadow on the eye with no other powder there, you could do it, but it's gonna be a lot more difficult, and especially if you are new to makeup, it's gonna feel hard and challenging, which, hey, if you're up for the challenge, I'm not here to tell you what you have to do. I'm just giving you ideas. You'll find that you'll enjoy learning how to do eyeshadow more if you kind of start taking account for the different layers and work in layers. So now I'm just taking my ring finger into this bronzy shade, so you can see, oh, so pretty. And I'm gonna start on the inner portion of my eye and apply that kind of, I'm pressing it, but I'm also swiping it a little. 3/4 of the lid, that I have that on the lid, I'm gonna go back in with, this is the same blending brush that I used for the crease, and I didn't add any extra product. I'm gonna start in the outer corner and do the exact same motions that I was doing when I was putting the crease in, but instead what I'm doing is I'm essentially blending out the edges of that lid color. Okay. Then what I'm gonna do, because I want to deepen it up just slightly, sometimes you lose a little bit of the dimension because of the lid color. So I'm gonna go in with a slight bit more. Do the exact same. Apply a little bit on the outside and then buff up. Going in with my other fluffy brush, just no product, just blending stuff. You'll quickly learn how important blending is. Okay, so I like how that looks. Now, again, you do not have to use a brush with this. You could totally, if you have a tiny little detail brush, by all means go use it, but I'm gonna take a little bit of this light champagne shade on the back of my middle finger, excuse me. I'm just gonna pop a little bit of that right in the inner corner. Whew! I'm actually gonna take my blending brush and blot that a little bit because it got a little crazy. There we go, nice and subtle. Okay, I'm going to, because I just finished my eyeshadow, but I'm powdered, I'm gonna go in This is my original powder brush that I used, and I'm just gonna make sure that we don't have any fallout. This coppery look, I mean, obviously I have really dark brown eyes, so it's a beautiful look on me with brown eyes. But this would be exceptionally beautiful and great blue-eyed, green-eyed. Any of these coppery, warm tones are going to look stunning and make your eyes pop even more. So you can see this is a super simple look, but okay, so let's go in and finish up the face before we do mascara. I'm gonna start with the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. This is the shade Bronze, and I actually picked up this little mini size one at Target. I was very happy to find it because I have a lot of bronzers, so I wanted to show you a good drugstore option, and I really like this one. This one's kind of a favorite amongst a lot of makeup artists. Okay, so we just bronzed up the cheeks. I'm hitting, for me personally, you want your bronzer to go where the sun would hit you. So for me, it would definitely get my forehead. So I like to do the hairline and then also come in a little bit here. I like to go under the cheekbones, just like that. I like to get the jawline just to make sure that this is all nice and blended. And then whatever is kind of like left on my brush, I'll kind of like go through my nose, because your nose gets like a little bit of tan, but not like, you don't want to look like dirty by any means. So now we're gonna go into this e.l.f. duo in Lychee, and we have a blush here and then also a highlighter. We're gonna take our blush brush and I'm actually really happy. I think this is one of the best matte blushes I've ever tried from the drugstore. My favorite blushes from the drugstore are Maybelline, the baked blushes. Yeah, but they have like a little sheen to them. So they're not like my favorite. For an easy, I know everybody doesn't want a sheen necessarily. Matte tends to be a little bit more like gentle. Again, as always, cameras love to pick up on blush. So this looks very intense, but I can assure you it is nowhere near this intense. But I mean, I still think it looks beautiful, even if it was this intense as the camera makes it look. Now we're gonna go in with the luminous side of that, and we're gonna take my Moda BMX 265 Glow Brush, and I'm just gonna gently dip that into, tap off, and highlight the cheeks. I mean, it's a highlight. They are not messing around with this guy. I will say, when it comes to these blush and highlighter duos, I was a little frustrated with the selections because I don't think they did a very good job matching up the blushes and the highlighters. So this is like probably the most natural blush color that they had. They had some more corally, some more pink ones, but like this is a really natural blush, which for me makes me feel like everybody should be able to use it because it's the most neutral, right? This highlighter, however, is, I don't know how it's pulling on here, but I mean, when I turn it, you can kind of see it's pretty dark. I mean, I'm barely pulling this off, but I feel like if you're any lighter than I am, I feel like it's gonna be a little hard. It might show up a little shadowy and dirty on you. So now I'm just taking a plain brush, powder brush with nothing on it, and I'm just kind of buffing and blending things just so that I feel like I have a good, it's so funny how like that looks so bold on camera. Might be the shadow too. I have more natural light coming in on this side. Next, we're gonna do brows. My Covergirl Easy Breezy Brow Gel. This is the shade Deep. There's my brows. All right, so here's the face. All right, so now we're going to spray the face. Using that same Pixi Glow Mist that we used in the beginning. I find that if you don't wear a lot of makeup, eyeliner tends to be a staple for a lot of women. Eyeliner and mascara tend to be two things that, like, if you're gonna do anything, those are the two that you do. So I wanted to make sure that even though I don't wear a lot of eyeliner, I included some easy eyeliner. So what I'm gonna do is just get like 2/3 of the waterline here. Just like that. And I'm only going on the bottom because I really don't like eyeliner on the top for every day for me. Okay, so now I'm gonna curl my lashes and I'm gonna use one of my all-time favorite mascaras. So I'm going to curl my lashes now, and then we're going to give me a good coat of L'Oreal Voluminous Original, which is, or the Carbon Black, both of them are great. And I will meet you back here and we will put something on the lips. Yeah? I think so. I have something new that I'm wanting to try, so actually we're definitely are gonna put something on the lips. So I will be right back. All right, we have the finished look minus our lips. So let's do that. This is the L'Oreal, I don't know, just says lip color. I'm gonna show you the packaging and I will list what it is below, but this is I think it's a liquid lipstick, and it's in the shade I Lead. Oh my God, that goes on like a dream. Oh, I'm in shock right now. It's making my lips look like they are the smoothest, most beautiful. It feels like nothing. I'm so confused right now. This is the thinnest, most pigmented lip product I have ever put on my lips. It feels like I'm putting water. Okay, L'Oreal, what kind of voodoo magic is this? I truly only bought this lip product because I bought it for my best friend for her birthday and I wanted to have the same lip color as her. I was like, I really need this lip color. And it is pulling a little more, I think it's pulling a little more red, honestly. Looks a little bolder than it does in person. I mean, it's by no means like a nude or anything, but it just feels a little more neutral, not quite as bold in person. Oh, it feels so good on my lips. I'm so excited to see how this dries down and how it wears today. I'm gonna go buy every single shade now. I see why people are so obsessed with these. I was trying so hard. I have been trying so hard not to buy any lip products because we're wearing masks right now and I have plenty. Like, I have over 100 lip products sitting to my right, okay? Like, I don't need another lip product. So I'm trying really hard not to buy any. But now I feel like I need all of these because this formula. So it's drying down now. Still feels so thin and comfortable. Wow. Okay, this is the finished look. What do we think? Guys, this is totally in the running for my wedding day lipstick. I can't believe I just made that assessment putting it on for 3 minutes, but all right, we're gonna see how it wears for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure it was way longer than it needed to be, but I was trying to give you some more tips than I normally would so that those of you who are not as experienced in makeup but are wanting to have a fun makeup look when you wanna look a little saucier than normal, this is it, okay? I really do think also that this color would be beautiful on so many different complexions. So, okay, I'm gonna stop staring at myself. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.